Okay, I don't know. Hey everybody, Mary here with Daisyhead by Mary, and I just wanted to continue my series of favorite items that I have been using lately. Last time I did brows and eyes. If you haven't watched that video, make sure that you check it out. And if you have already watched it, then I bet you're so excited about face products. Or maybe you're not, I don't know, whatever. Anyways, this is gonna go over creme and liquid and powder products that I'm using on my face on a regular basis, things that I really, really love and have been happy with. There are some higher end products, but there are also a lot of drugstore products. I've been really happy with drugstore makeup lately, and I don't know, I've just been using it a lot. So sue me! Anyways, let's just get started. I'm just gonna kind of go in the order that I place the products on my face. I'm wearing a lot of them today and I'll let you know which ones they are. So first things first, let's talk about primers. They're in no particular order, unless there's one product that is like my holy grail, but otherwise these are just all products that I really love. So this first one is the Maybelline Baby Skin Instant Pore Eraser. It's not technically a primer, but it's kind of the drugstore equivalent of, I think, the Benefit Porefessional or the Makeup Forever Step 1 Smoothing Primer. Anyways, I've used it and I've been super happy with it. There are a couple of things you need to know. One, it does smell a little tiny bit like gasoline. Your skin will feel a little bit different after you apply primer. It's going to feel like really smooth and almost velvety. Some people think that that's an oiliness thing, and it's not. It's just the texture of your skin has been changed to be able to prepare it for foundation. So I really like this baby skin. Another one from the drugstore that I'm really happy with is this Pixi Flawless Beauty Primer. If you've been watching my channel since the beginning, you know that I absolutely love this stuff. The second ingredient is glycerin. So if you're not really interested in doing that Nivea aftershave balm that Nikki Tutorials loves, then you can check this out as well. It also has glycerin. It's gonna do the same thing and it's not gonna smell like a dude.
But that doesn't mean that I don't completely condone everything that Nikki Tutorials does. Because if she wants to use after shaving balm, then she can.
Alrighty, moving on to the next thing, also a drugstore primer. This is Wet n Wild Coverall. I wrote a blog a little while ago about kind of ranking primers, and I didn't like this one that much. I was like, this isn't that cool. On the back, this is what it says it's going to do. Refine pores, fill fine lines, brighten your complexion, and even the skin tone. Does it do those things? No, not really. But it is also only about $3 or $4. What I do like about it is that it makes your foundation stay all day long and your skin doesn't get gross and oily. Especially if you have oily skin like mine. I have very oily, acne-prone skin, and my foundation can deteriorate throughout the day. We're talking after a couple of hours if I'm not wearing a really good primer, or if I forget to wear primer at all, goodbye. Foundation on my nose, gone within like an hour. This primer is kind of amazing when it comes to making your foundation stick. If you're an oily girl like me and you're on a budget, check out this Wet n Wild because it's kind of amazing, and I retract my previous statements. And then the final primer, I really, really love this one. It's the Shiseido Refining Makeup Primer. You can get this on Sephora.com exclusively. I adore this primer. I got a little sample of it. I didn't use it very long or for a while, and then I did start using it and I was like, oh my gosh, where has this been? It's oil free, it has SPF 21 in it, it's mattifying, it's amazing. Makes my pores go away. It's just, this is a fantastic primer and nobody's talking about it. Moving on to foundations and the sorts, I only have two products for you right now. The first is a BB cream, and it's the NYX BB Cream. It comes in just a few shades, and the one that I purchased is pasty white. No, I'm just kidding, it's nude. And it's the lightest shade that you can get. I will just squeeze a little onto my hand here. This is really nice for the summertime if you want to have a very, very light coverage that's very breathable, that doesn't feel like a ton of makeup on your face. This was really nice when my husband and I went on vacation and it was humid and hot and I applied this. It didn't cover all of my imperfections, so just know that BB creams aren't good for covering imperfections, but it is nice for kind of evening out the skin tone, and I felt confident enough while I was wearing it that I didn't feel like I was really self-conscious because all of my flaws were visible. So that's a really nice alternative if you want to go a light coverage route. But if you're like me and you love a nice full coverage, this Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless is the bomb.com. I have been using this since Kathleen Lights and May Makeup started raving about it. They were just like, this is actually a really amazing foundation. And usually they're using the higher end stuff, so I thought, okay, I'll just give this a little try, see if I like it. And I love it. This is my second bottle. I know that I should try other foundations, but I just have no interest because I love this one so much. The shade that I am is Natural Ivory 112. This is great for normal to oily skin. I'm assuming if you have dry skin, this won't be as optimum because it's supposed to be more mattifying. Is it matte? Not really. When I think about a matte foundation, the first thing that comes to my mind is the Kat Von D Lock-It Tattoo Foundation, which is the mattest of all matte, and this isn't like that at all. So if you do actually want like a true matte finish, you will need to set this with powder, but if you're just looking for a really good full coverage foundation, this is it. This is my absolute holy grail of foundations. I haven't found another one that I loved even half as much, so I just keep buying this so much. Love you. Okay. Next thing I'm going to talk about are concealers. We've got a few from the drugstore and then a few higher end. The first one is this Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Eraser Dark Circles treatment. I use the color Fair, although I am interested in using brightening. And you can see how much of it I've used. I mean, I use this all of the time. I love using it under my eyes, a little bit in the center just for natural highlighting. It's such a lightweight formula. I think that's why I love it so much. It's super lightweight, so when you're putting it on top of foundation, you don't feel cakey and gross and nasty. But because of that, it doesn't have really super good coverage. So if I have really bad under eye circles, I will usually apply my LA Girl Cosmetics HD Pro Conceal Yellow Corrector before my foundation and my concealer. These two together are actually a pretty good combination to fight off dark circles. So again, that's just the LA Girl Pro Conceal Yellow Corrector and the Instant Age Rewind by Maybelline. This is a good little, and I like the applicator. It's just kind of a squishy, little guy. So that's fun. And then the last concealer I want to talk about that's around the drugstore is by Hard Candy. It's a Glamoflauge. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this line. People have told me that it's supposed to be dupes for Kat Von D, but frankly I think that that's kind of ridiculous that there could possibly be a dupe that's this inexpensive for a product that's that high quality. I have an animal hair on my lip, gross. So I don't know about that, but I do like this particular concealer. If you want the most full coverage of all full coverage, this is the concealer for you. And I am shade light. They have an extra light one, and that is super light. So I'll just kind of swatch this out. This is how that looks. So as you can see, it's a very full coverage, even when you're blending it out. Yeah, super full coverage, but it's a lightweight enough formula that you're not feeling cakey. So I like that. Anyways, yeah, Glamoflauge Heavy Duty Concealer. Good stuff. Next one, and this was my holy grail for a while, is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, and this is shade Chantilly. I absolutely loved this concealer for a long time. I'm almost out of it. Like the Hard Candy, it's very full coverage. Unlike the Hard Candy, it does tend to get a little cakey under the eyes. So because I have a lot of fine lines underneath my eyes, because I'm older than you think I am, that's a little bit tricky. But in anywhere else, forehead, down the nose, Cupid's bow, stuff like that, awesome. So what I was doing for a little while was using a lighter weight concealer just under my eyes and then applying this right below it for a nice highlighted effect. I will probably buy this in the future. It's a really nice concealer. The only downside is that it's this kind of applier, this little doe foot applicator, which means I'm not getting everything at the bottom. And I hate that. I don't want to waste product. And then this newest one, welcome to the family, is the Tarte Maracuja Creaseless Concealer. And Desi Perkins was talking about this, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna give it a try. This is kind of a game changer. This is my new Holy Grail concealer. And you're gonna see in comparison to the others, it's a darker shade. The reason I did that was because I really just wanted to focus this under my eyes on the fine lines, and I didn't want it to be so pale that it was weird looking. So this is that concealer right here. Very full coverage. But as you can see, well, I don't know if you can see, I have a lot of fine lines in my hands because my skin gets a little dry and it's not settling into those fine lines at all. This is the least creasing concealer I've ever used. Can I say without question it is 100% creaseless on my fine lines under my eyes? Unfortunately, no. But in comparison to all the other concealers that I have tried, this is the best one that I've used. I'm shade Light Sand, and again, the reason I got this just a little bit darker is because I didn't want to be like white underneath my eyes to make that just really obvious and apparent. But I have been super happy with this concealer, and because it's so full coverage, it barely takes any product at all, so I know it's gonna last me a while, and I love Tarte Cosmetics. So this was a real win for me. And moving on to setting powders, I just have a couple that I really like. Oh, this one is kind of, it's snowing. The City Color HD powder. I received this in an Ipsy bag. You guys know that I love City Color Cosmetics anyhow, but I received this in an Ipsy bag, and this is awesome. It's so finely milled that it's not going to get cakey under your eyes, because there are a lot of HD powders that claim to not get cakey and then they totally do. This one does not. Take it from me, I got one of the biggest fine lines. It's pretty much a wrinkle underneath my eye, and it doesn't settle in, it doesn't get cakey, it's not gross. I love this powder. I love the way my skin feels when I apply it, and it stays feeling that way for hours and hours and hours, which means it's working, so I love that. And then the second one is the Rimmel Stay Matte Translucent Pressed Powder, or I guess it's just pressed powder, and I have shade Transparent, sorry. And you can see it does have like a little bit of shade to it, but not really. I mean, you could really use it as long as you're light to lighter medium skin tone. You could totally use this. I like to use this to bake underneath my contour, just to set all of my makeup. The only thing I don't love using this for is under the eyes, and that's just because it's a pressed powder, so it's not as finely milled and it does get a little bit cakey. But this is an awesome, awesome drugstore option. Moving on to some contour palettes, I've got two that I absolutely love. I am sticking with City Color Cosmetics. I have the Contour FX2 and the regular Contour and Define. This particular Contour and Define comes with a highlight, a bronze, and a contour, along with a very nice neutral blush. What I really love about this is that this highlight is one of the most beautiful highlights I've ever seen in my life. It's not super shimmery, and it just looks like you have this really nice inner glow coming out. I don't use it as much as I used to anymore because I've just been using the most ridiculous highlighters on earth, but this is really lovely, and it's a little bit warmer. The Contour FX 2 they released as the cool option, and I love that they have a cool option now, because if you're fair skinned, sometimes the darker stuff can get really too warm and muddy on your skin. So this is a cooler. It's not as dark as it appears in pan. Once you apply it, it's a very sheer coverage. And then this highlight is very glowy and very pretty, and I love it. And it has a bronzer in the middle. So I've been really happy with these. However, I will say lately I haven't been highlighting and contouring as much as I used to. What I've been doing a lot more now is just applying a bronzer to warm up my skin. And the favorite bronzers that I've been using right now are Pixi by Petra. I received this is a beauty bronzer in summertime. I received this by redeeming some Ipsy points, and this is gorgeous. It's a really nice bronzer. It's a little bit shimmery, but not too shimmery. And it's just like a really nice warm brown, just right in here, without being too warm. I don't know, I love this bronzer. I'm so happy that I redeemed the points. I've been using it a lot, and I just bought this today, so it's kind of silly. I don't know if it's silly, but it's just kind of funny that I'm including it in these favorites, but this was like the color I wanted. And this is the Wet n Wild ColorIcon Contouring Palette in shade Caramel Toffee. And what I love about this is that for us pale skin girls, this is a really nice, cool tone without being crazy. It's not super dark as you can see, but when you apply it on the skin, I'm wearing it today, it really warms up the skin very nicely. The downside is that this highlight doesn't show up on the skin at all. So I just kind of use this as a setting powder. So that's a little bit disappointing that I'm not going to be able to use one of the sides, but for the price point, I think it's like $4 to be able to get this cooler toned bronzer. Awesome. Moving on to highlighters. I love my BECCA Cosmetics highlighters. I'm addicted. So I have Moonstone and Champagne Pop. So this is Moonstone right here. Gorgeous kind of champagne color. This is Champagne Pop, and what I love about this is that it's more of a peach, kind of a peachy champagne color. They're both so beautiful. They're both very intense, and the texture is unlike any other highlighter I've ever used. These are incredible, and I love them. For those of you who are on more of a budget and want to go drugstore, if you can find it, it was really hard for me to find this, but the Wet n Wild Fergie Centerstage collection in Hollywood Boulevard is awesome. This is how it looks, and I will just swatch it out for you. Like really a very intense golden based highlight. So if you're very pale skinned, you're not going to want to use this. It's going to look a little bit too yellowy on you, but like, look at that. Look at that highlight. I'm wearing it today. I applied it dry and then I sprayed some setting spray on it and then packed it on, so I'm just like, so glowy. I love, love, love this highlighter. I think it's so pretty and it's huge. So if you can find this, because everyone wants it, then buy it. Buy 2 of them. I don't know. And the last thing I want to talk about is blush. I've got a few brands that I just really love. The first is City Color Cosmetics. You guys know that I love the Be Matte blushes, so I'm not going to go into tons of detail about them, but these are my 2 favorite colors. Fresh Melon, this is the one that started it all, and Blackberry, this is a really, really pretty neutral color that has just a little bit of like a purple undertone. I think it looks really nice on my skin tone. Then the other is Milani. I finally was able to get my hands on the baked blush in Luminoso, and so pretty. And what I love about this is that it's shimmery enough. I'll just swatch it here. It's shimmery enough that you don't necessarily have to use an additional highlighter. So that's awesome. You can just apply this and you're good to go. And then for another drugstore Physicians Formula, this is their argan oil in rose, and it smells like actual roses. It's really, really nice. For a drugstore, this is stupidly expensive. I want to say $12 or $13. But it's a really gorgeous color and blush lasts for years and years and years. So I would recommend it. I just really like the pretty pink shade that it is. It's buildable, it's pigmented, it's really a nice blush. Anyways, those are my favorite face products that I'm using right now. Let me know what your favorites are down in the comments below. Give me some thumbs up. Make sure that you subscribe so you can continue to hear some of my favorite products and stuff like that. Follow me on social media at Daisyhead by Mary on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!